Hello, everyone. Today joining me is my good friend, fellow comedian Keren Bala Devan. Hi, Keren.
Hi, hello.
Okay. The reason why I invited him because recently he started tweeting modernized versions of myths and legends in the Hindu literature books.
Hindu myths lah. Yeah, Hindu stories.
Hindu myths, and I found it absolutely hilarious. And also, it's nice because I then am able to appreciate the lore and the stories, and I otherwise wouldn't have, because who cares? But because Keren managed to make
good,
to make it sound so interesting, I've invited him today to tell me, in his own way, some of the classic Hindu myths and legends. Keren, what have you got for me today?
Oh, you want me to just start like that? Okay. Well,
you want to? Okay, what you want to say first? Just say no problem.
I mean, cool. Before that, I want to say that I am not a Hinduologist at all. I have no qualifications. I have no academic background. I have no training.
Right. You tried to apply for Hinduology lah, but then didn't get lah.
Yeah. Cannot. The priest took one look at me and said, "You change religion lah."
Oh, I said UM didn't have a course for you.
No, don't have. They surprisingly don't have.
Or even if they did, they give it to the Malay people.
The one, the only way to get Hinduology course is you need a Mara scholarship, which is weird. I feel very mixed messaging. You know what I mean? So,
but, I mean, it's good. They have a Hindu course.
I mean, it was weird lah that they're not letting an actual Hindu do it. But I mean, fine lah. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying lah.
Okay,
so all these stories were the stuff that I grew up with, or that I knew, that I found out. I think the one that you wanted to talk about, let's start with that first, the one that I tweeted recently about the Hanuman and the mountain thing.
Yeah, okay. So in preparation for this, I've not done any research, so okay. I'm a blank canvas. Feel free.
Yeah, neither have I.
So feel free to paint whatever picture you want with your brush, sir.
Okay. No, because I know you told me you had some questions, so I said wait for the podcast, right? So essentially what I tweeted was, in a normal meme form, I just want to tell like Hindu stories in a way that people understand now. So it's that whole meme of like no one at all, nobody in the entire universe, and then Hanuman, they're like, hey guys, I brought the mountain for y'all since I couldn't find the herbs. This one okay or not? You know? So the story is
okay.
The story is Lakshmanan, which is Lord Ram's brother. He got mortally wounded.
Okay, who is Lord Ram?
So Lord Ram is the central figure in Ramayana.
Okay, Ramayana. Okay.
He is the one of the incarnations of Vishnu.
Okay. All right.
One of the incarnations on Earth lah.
Okay.
So he went to war because his wife got kidnapped.
Okay.
So he tapas. So he took all his army and all that, and then they went and fought something. So this chap, his brother, he got wounded lah. Okay.
So Lord Ram's brother got wounded.
Lord Ram's brother got wounded.
Okay.
Mortally wounded. So then the doctor came. The doctor's name was Shushena, I think.
So wait, there are doctors in this time.
Healer lah. He's a combat medic lah. He was traveling with the army and all that, right? So
combat medic. Okay.
A combat medic. So he came and said, "Oh, cannot. Oh, this one cannot. This one." He only has until sunrise.
Okay.
So he'll die. So then he said like, hey, Hanuman, you can sort this out. I need these special healing herbs.
Okay.
From this mountain in the Himalayas.
Like plus 50 HP.
This one it's like Phoenix Down, bro.
Okay. I get the reference.
So, right? So he said only you can go, but you need to be quick lah, right? So since Hanuman he's basically India's first superhero.
Right. Okay. So, I've heard the name Hanuman before, and I've only seen one. Somehow or other, I saw him in cartoon form where he became like big size.
Okay.
Right?
So
what is Hanuman? Or
So
who is
Hanuman
Hanuman?
is the monkey god. He is also of divine birth here. All of them is this, like, his dad is like the god of the wind, or something, if I'm not mistaken. So he is in monkey form, but he is most known as Lord Ram's biggest devotee.
Okay. Okay.
Like he will give his life lah. Okay,
Right.
so anything
Okay.
Ram say he will do. So
Okay.
and his superpowers in all the stories are wildly inconsistent.
Yeah. By the way, I just double check. He is the son of the wind god.
Yes.
Okay. A bit OP lah.
No, very OP, bro. That's why his powers will simply change one.
Right.
He is like super strong. He can fly. He can grow like big. All I mean, not fly like jump lah, right? So
Why didn't Lord
uh
Ram just send Hanuman? Like, why did he send his brother also?
no, because you need more than one person to fight army. You cannot just,
But
you know.
Hanuman is so powerful.
But then only he'll get the XP.
Okay. Okay. Okay, go on. So,
You know what I mean?
okay, go on.
So, so the doctor said you need to go and get this. So our friend went lah. He jumped from India all the way to like the Himalayas.
Okay.
There were things in his way. There were other like demons and all that trying to fight him and stop him and waste his time. So by the time he went there, so the doctor told him, you need to get this like 4 herbs, I think, right? Or 4 of the
Okay.
same herbs.
Okay.
So he went there and then he searched and then he nobody asked, I think, what the herbs look like.
Yeah, because you can't like WhatsApp a photo or something.
Cannot. That time don't have yet. So
Okay.
I'm somewhere Himalaya, no signal, ma. So
Yeah. Okay.
So he went there and then now he got confused and then he's like, I don't know which one's the herbs. I legit don't know.
He legit don't know which herbs. Okay.
But wait. But I need to bring this back, right? I don't know what to do. So Hanuman's he's a very results oriented person. He's not details oriented.
He's not details oriented, but he's results oriented. Okay. Anything for the KPI.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. So
Okay.
so he's big picture lah.
Okay.
So he's like, I don't know which one is the herb. And then so he decided, you know what? I'll just take the whole mountain and come one shot. Easier, save time. Okay. So he took the entire mountain, jumped back to India in time.
Right.
Put it in front of the doctor. The doctor is like, they didn't teach me all this, and I didn't know you can do this in medical school.
Right.
And then the doctor said, okay, you know what? Never mind, this works lah. Okay. So he went and found the herbs for himself. And
Wait,
the other part of the story.
So he brought the mountain, but now the doctor Susena now has to go hiking and all and collect the actual herbs lah.
I mean, that one his problem lah.
And
I mean, Hanuman brought the mountain, ask the doctor to do some work lah,
Yeah lah, okay, fine. And then, but he only had until sunrise, which means he had to hike in the dark. That's quite irresponsible.
A little bit. I again, that was his issue. Not like I said, results oriented. I bring for you figure out the nitty gritty,
Okay.
And then the other part of this issue, the other part of the story also was like, because of the time, the sun was coming up already at that point.
Right.
So he jumped to the sun and he held it in place for a while.
Wow.
Hanuman. But
Hanuman
then after that,
to the sun and then he held it down, like, so don't rise.
A little bit like, yeah, just hold it first until they managed to heal Lakshman. And then after that, he felt bad. So then he went and said sorry to the sun god. The sun god said, okay, never, I understand, all that.
Oh, he didn't ask permission from the sun god.
No. I think if I'm remembering it correctly, I think Ravanan, the bad guy, started praying to the sun god and said, you do this for me.
As in, rise faster.
Rise faster, yeah. So what you need to understand is a lot of these stories back then, even the demons, right? Some of them, they also pray to the gods one, even though they are fighting on earth.
Okay. It's almost like Greek mythology in a bit, right? Where the gods are vicarious and they like, it's like the earth realm is like sort of like a chessboard like that.
They get involved lah. They get involved to varying degrees, and usually you get all this kind of hijinks lah.
So the bad guy's name is what again?
Ravana.
So Ravana prayed to the sun god to say rise faster, but then Hanuman did one better. Hanuman just went to the sun itself.
He chokehold the sun and he said, "Wait first."
Wow.
And then he just slip a hole a little bit, and then until they heal Lakshmana. Then after that, at least he got manners lah. He said sorry after that,
Oh, I see. It's nice enough to say, "Hey, sorry, man. I sort of curtailed your son."
Yeah. He's like sun god lah. So you don't play lah.
I mean, surely, with 21st century hindsight, surely it would have been easier for Hanuman to just hold the earth down instead, and stop it rotating.
What would have been easier is for him to grow big and then take the doctor to Himalaya with him to take the medicine and come back.
Yes. No, the doctor had to tend to the other wounded in the battlefield.
I'm sure they had more than one lah.
Sure. Okay. So what? Okay. So then, So Hanuman brought the mountain, gave the herbs to Lord Ram's brother. Okay, and then what happens?
No, and then after that they all happy lah. They hug Hanuman and say thank you, and then they went back and they continued fighting lah after that.
And then they won lah.
Eventually they won lah. So the whole thing was to go and invade. To go and fight in Lanka because Ram's wife Sita got kidnapped.
Okay.
And then like if you remember the cartoon they used to show, like the only cartoon they used to show during Deepavali to pretend like Malaysia gives a damn about Indians.
Okay.
The anime one, the bad guy with the 10 hits, that's Ravan lah.
I think so. I think that's where I saw Hanuman grow big.
Yes, yeah. Everyone knows a cartoon.
Oh, okay. So this Ramayana is like, it's okay. It's obviously it's a book of myths and legends, but does it have religious connotations? It does, right? Because of
almost all of them do, because it's part of the Mahabharata, right?
Right.
So it's one of the stories inside Mahabharata.
Okay.
So
Mahabharata is religious text?
No, it is just a poem.
Oh, so the Mahabharata is a long poem?
It's the longest story in the world so far, longest written story in the world.
Wow, even longer than like Lord of the Rings or whatever.
Yeah. Way longer. So
okay.
And it is classified as an epic poem. So it's not a religious text, but it is of significant cultural and spiritual value to its users.
Okay.
Because it talks about just one period of history in the ancient Hindu time, where all these wars were taking place, and about Vishnu's incarnations. Because one of the stories is Ramayana, and then after that, the other poem, the other story inside Mahabharata is the Bhagavad-Gita, which is Krishna's story, which is another incarnation of Vishnu.
Wait, so there is the Mahabharata, and then the Ramayana is part of the Mahabharata, and then Bhagavad-Gita is also another part of the Mahabharata.
Yes.
But I thought Bhagavad-Gita was a religious book.
Not really, lah. The whole Bhagavad-Gita is essentially Krishna talking to Arjuna on the battlefield. That's essentially what the entire poem is about. But in there, he is talking to him and he's teaching him things. And because of the things that Krishna says and the things that all the other characters do, it's gained a lot of spiritual and philosophical value. I wouldn't say it's religious value. There, like you don't. It doesn't tell you go and do this, go and do that. It just teaches you like, hey, if you want to live properly, then these are some ways to do it. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay. Wow.
Because the whole thing about the Gita is, for me, like a layman, right? Like what I like about the Gita is the fact that Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna why it's okay for him to lift his sword up against his own kin.
Wow, that's some heavy stuff.
So it's all about duty and your place on earth and this kind of things.
Okay, so who is this Arjunan fella?
Arjunan is, if I'm not mistaken, he is one of Krishna's like generals and
Right.
very, very good friend.
Okay.
And so when the war starts, they are basically on the battlefield. It's the Pandyas versus the Kauravas, and they're basically from the same, like they're all like they're one big. You know how Indians got big family?
Yeah.
So imagine two kingdoms or so, and they are more or less related, lah. Okay.
Okay, so two equally powerful kingdoms fighting each other, lah.
Yeah.
Okay,
so it's more philosophical musings than anything else, lah.
Oh, and that's very interesting. So the books are from the which kingdom? The books are like the Bhagavad-Gita, as you say, is Krishna talking to Arjuna. This is which kingdom's people?
Wait, I need to get this. I think the Pandavas.
Okay. No, I actually have a Bhagavad-Gita. Can I reference it? Let me see.
Can.
My friend got it for me. Yeah. Okay. So this, I believe, came. One of my friends gave this to me.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Spoken by Lord.
Yeah, the Pandavas. Yeah.
Spoken by Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to his intimate devotee Arjuna. It doesn't say which. Oh, okay. Oh, so this one then, this is written by this guy, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the world's foremost Vedic scholar and teacher, represents an unbroken chain of fully self-realized spiritual masters, beginning with Lord Krishna himself. Wow.
There's a lot of different translations and all that, lah. So.
I see.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so now, what other interesting? So that's one. Okay, I find it really awesome because that story. I mean, when you tell it that way, like when you modernize it in just a short meme form, immediately captivated me because obviously this is a very interesting story. Like, like Hanuman, I'm gonna bring the mountain. You know.
Yeah.
It's also like a form of like problem solving, like if you don't know which is the right one, just bring all first.
Yeah lah.
Let an expert decide. You don't decide decide which are the herbs.
Hanuman's not a doctor. He's a fighter, no.
Exactly. He just so happens he can jump to to another country and grab the mountain. So did Hanuman put back the mountain, or did he leave it there?
No, it's still there.
Oh, really?
It's still there. Apparently, the villagers were quite upset at that point. I mean, I cannot cite the actual sources I saw here and there, but now that mountain is considered like sacred, lah. But I think initially, I mean, think about it, lah. Like,
wait, you're being serious. I mean,
I'm being serious.
Also, people actually deem that whatever mountain that was left in India. What mountain that was left in India? What am I saying? This the mountain
the mountain that was left in India. Yeah.
Yeah, because fine. The mountain that was brought over from Tibet to India. Okay. What's the name of the mountain?
I have it here, Kajab. It's called the San Giovanni Mountain. So the plant itself is called San Giovanni. Okay. So they named it after that mountain, lah.
Okay, so people in India are saying this mountain was from Tibet and is now here.
It was from the Himalayas, and then it's there now. So in that region, it's considered sacred. But somewhere, right? And like if you think about it, honestly, right? Like I know, God's on earth, and you're kind of used to miracles and all that happening, but you're in a village, and then one day. This like 150-foot monkey god comes and puts a mountain beside your village. Like you at the very least, you would feel anxious. You know what I mean? What is he doing? No one.
Big mountain.
No one that day woke up expecting that to happen. Like the most they knew was, okay, probably, Lord Ram and his army was coming through town.
Yes,
Fine.
fair enough. Yeah.
Fair enough. And then by lunch, and then by like after dinner, suddenly, a mountain comes there, they do their work, they don't know, they probably went to sleep, they wake up in the morning, there's a mountain, bro, behind your house.
No, imagine the village head, the Ketua Kampung. He's like, yes, guys, there's gonna be a war, whatever. Close your doors and don't get involved in the fight. And then,
Yeah.
And then the wee hours in the morning, the one of the boys knock on the door, like, hey, the mountain is here. Like, what do you mean? Is that a nickname for a very famous knight? No. The fucking mountain.
The
Someone
actual
has put
physical mountain is that. And then they all go to the village chief because they don't want to disturb Ram and all that. He's got his own problems to handle, right? Yeah. So they all go to the village chief and they're like, hey, the mountain, what we go do now? Can you imagine the village chief? He's like, I don't know, lah.
I've never in my
life.
Why
ask me? I never bring one. Why ask me?
Go and ask that monkey god right there.
Go and pray, lah. I don't know, lah. I'm pedek, lah.
Oh, so you're saying that the village in India would have been upset at the sudden appearance of a mountain?
Not okay, yeah. Maybe upset is a strong word. Maybe just kind of like concerned a little bit, perplexed. Yeah.
I would imagine that the village next to the mountain in the original location in Tibet would have been fucking furious.
I think because it was so high up the Himalayas, I don't think there would have been a village. But I think what it would have done, it would have like lowered the property prices because now the scenery is a bit, you could see a nice mountain top and then suddenly it's gone.
Was there a very robust property market in those times?
Bro, I'm very sure, bro. There was land everywhere. Are you kidding me?
Right. Okay. So current in modern times now, so that mountain is sacred, but is there anyone in Tibet who's like feeling a bit jealous, like actually that's our mountain?
No, I don't think so. Bro, Tibet, they got mountains for days, bro. I think they're fine. They can lose one or two. Yeah.
They barely noticed.
They didn't know.
They didn't know. Hanuman was smart enough to take an obscure part of the mountain and then move away.
Yeah. Just that. I think that one portion of it, and then the people in Tibet or the Himalayas, they probably woke up the next morning and why is slightly brighter today?
Why slightly brighter? No, why the sun hits this patch like 2 hours earlier?
Yeah. They were like, I can dry my clothes at least easier.
Fast. Okay, so that's again, like I say, you see what is interesting about this is just from that one tweet you modernized that, and so it captured my imagination. Like, why did this god just decided to just take the mountain? So it's such an interesting story, man.
I mean, if people go and like, for people who either don't know or they don't remember the story, if they read the tweet and then they go back and see like, hey, that's a interesting thing to learn,
Yeah. That's what comedians do. Okay, any other stories you got? I'm very anxious to learn.
There was one story that I heard last time, which is like before I started comedy, and then after I started tweeting, I thought, oh yeah, this was an actual like a joke thing, right? Which is, so the story goes like,
wait, the story is a joke?
There's a joke in the story.
Oh, okay.
So like, even last time also, like I tried to find a humorous Hindu stories. I mean, it's nice to try and find humor in like ancient religious texts or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You can find here and there. It's a different form of humor. It's not what we consider comedy now, but it's there, like, if you look for it,
Okay.
So. One of the ones personally that I like was Lord Muruga, who is in the Shaivite belief, Shaivite followers, right? It's Shiva, Parvati, and then Ganesha and Muruga. It's the four of them.
Okay. Can you explain briefly who are these? I mean, what are these four people's roles?
Okay, Ken. So Shiva and Parvati, they are the mother and father figure. Shiva is one of the three main Hindu gods.
Yeah. So there's Shiva,
Vishnu and Brahma.
Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma. Okay, so Shiva is one of the three faces of God, right? Or
One of the three.
iterations.
They call it the one of the Trinity lah. They call it the
Okay.
three of them.
Okay. So okay. Then Shiva and Parvati. Okay.
Okay, so they are husband and wife,
Right.
and then their children are Ganesha. Everybody knows,
Okay.
and then Muruga is the other one, the younger son.
So
right?
Ganesha
He's
is
the one with the spear and the peacock.
Oh, okay. Muruga is the spirit, and Ganesha is the one with the elephant form, right?
Elephant head. Yes.
Elephant head.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And blue in color.
Bro, all the gods got so many colors, bro. I
All
also
right.
confused
Okay.
it.
Okay. So I know this for okay.
Okay. So, and like Muruga, if you all don't know, like he's the one that we Hindus worship during like all those festivities for Thaipusam. That's for him.
Okay.
Okay. So the story goes that he was minding his own business at one point. So there was this sage, right? And she wrote a lot of poems. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but like, so she wrote a lot of poems, and then she started being a bit egoistic, a bit arrogant, right? So Muruga noticed this, and then he said, "Okay lah, let me mess with her a little bit."
So wait, so this sage is writing a lot of poems about Muruga.
About yeah,
and but in good ways or bad ways?
No, good. It's all good.
Okay,
it's all good. But because she got a bit popular.
And Muruga is the one who thinks that she is a bit all that lah.
She a bit atas now lah.
But this is Muruga saying that. Like Muruga.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So if you know the story of Muruga, he can be very arrogant and egotistical and hot-headed and all that.
Right. Okay.
Eventually, he got rid of that because almost all, if you see a thread in a lot of the Hindu stories, a lot of it is getting rid of your ego.
Interesting. Okay, I don't read enough, but okay, that is the
ego.
Same.
Ego death is a big thing lah in Hindu writings, right?
Okay.
So he saw her and said, "Okay, let me go mess with this girl a little bit. I mean, let me go mess with this lady a little bit. She's an old lady, right?" So she decided to go and sit down under a tree, and then he took a form of like just a normal peasant kid. Okay. And then he went up to her and said, "Hey, you want..." He said like, "Hey, are you hungry? Are you thirsty?" Then she's like, yeah, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty. You got any food? No. Say, "God, you want hot mango? No, you want hot fruit or you want cold fruit?" Okay. And then she is like, "What? Who's this fella? This fella probably illiterate, don't know anything, stupid, all that, all. I got no time for him."
Okay.
I don't want to lie on his nonsense. Like she looked at him as like below her lah. So he said,
"Right,
just give me the cold fruit lah. Fine."
Okay.
So he kicked the tree she was sitting under, and then the fruits fell on the floor, on the ground. Okay.
What fruit is it again? Just cold fruit.
He just asked, "You want cold fruit or hot fruit?" She happened to be sitting under a tree with fruit.
Okay. So just kick and then the fruit comes down. Okay.
The fruit fell down from the tree lah. So then she took the fruit from the ground and then got sand ma.
Right.
So she started blowing on the fruit, and then Muruga asked her like, "Hey, why you blowing the fruit hot ah?"
Okay. That's the joke.
That's the joke. That's the joke. And then she buta already, and then she like, "Oh, actually I'm not that smart." And then she realized he was Muruga, and then I'm sure there was a song lah.
That's the
Yeah.
That's the gentlest clap back ever. Like, like
that might be the first instance, the first recorded dad joke, I think, in a Hindu writing,
Oh man, so he kicked the tree, fruit came down, there's sand, and then she just blew on it, and then he goes, "Why you blow on it? Is the fruit hot, man? Cold, whatever." Yeah. and it's surprising to me why the sage doesn't go like, because there's sand lah. What the? There's sand. I'm blowing. I don't want to eat sand.
Cannot. That time her ego gone already.
Right. What was the name of this sage? I mean, let's
Hold on.
sage who wrote poems about Muruga. Okay, it's a long name. What's the name of the story? Muruga and the fruit tree.
That might be the one.
Oh, very long. Okay. Never mind. Okay, and so what do you think was the purpose of this story? Is again ego death, is it? Like you don't think you're so smart, lah?
Yeah.
But it's
Correct.
such a gentle tale. It's not like
So the name is Avayar. So she's like a very, very famous sage poet, the kind of thing lah. Back then.
oh, the story of the no.
There's one more. So like a lot of it is like don't just like learn how to behave. Don't be arrogant.
Right.
There's one more story from the Ramayana, so I like which. Okay. So I think everyone knows that part of the story where they built the land bridge from
Yes.
India to Lanka, right?
I read this story in a big book that was in a house that my family rented. So the family before had this book of literally, I think it's called the Big Book of Myths and Legends. It had everything from Greek mythology, Chinese mythology, and also Indian mythology. So I remember this story because I remember clearly the image of they put the rocks. They write the Buddha's name or a god's name on the rock, and then it floats on the water, right?
Ram's name.
Yeah, Ram's name. Okay.
So they just kept writing Ram's name and all that. So everybody knows about the monkeys who are. I mean, he had a monkey army, right? So everybody knows about the monkey army trying to build the bridge. No one. So there's a small story about a squirrel also. No? So apparently a few squirrels also were involved in this.
Right. Okay.
So they didn't just outsource it to the monkeys. They hired independent contractors from the forest.
It was a multi-animal coalition.
Multi-fauna project.
Okay, right. So okay. So you're being serious. So there's a monkey.
Yeah.
An army of monkeys, and then there's also some squirrels. Okay.
There was some squirrels. So this one squirrel in particular, like he also like wanted to help because at that point the entire gist of the story is that everyone knew who Lord Ram was. He's the incarnation of God. You be his devotee, like you follow him, like he's going to war. He's trying to fight a demon for all sorts of reasons. So you follow that. So everyone's helping build the bridge, right? So this squirrel is small. He's taking in, small, tiny rocks and going to the bridge and doing and come back. Right? So a bunch of these monkeys, right? They a bit busted lah. Okay. So they saw the squirrel and then they're like, "What the hell are you doing? You squirrel, what? Why are you wasting your time? We are the ones putting the rock. You don't waste time. Okay. Like you are small." The squirrel small also, he like, no lah, I also doing my part lah, bro. I also got a job to do. You also got your job to do. You don't make noise lah.
Right.
Okay, but the monkeys being monkeys, they were like, and these were like bigger monkeys. They were like, no, you are rubbish. Then like they picked him up, started making fun of him. Hey, you stupid squirrel, you damn small kind of thing.
Okay.
Lord Ram came.
Okay.
Told them cut this shit out.
Okay.
Took the squirrel and said, hey, listen, y'all, I know this fella small. But you look properly. Y'all are putting the rocks and building the bridge. The squirrels taking the small stones and all that are filling in the gaps in between the rocks to make it stronger.
Okay, and that is so cute. Oh right? Man.
Right? Is
it an army of squirrels or just one lone squirrel?
I assume it would have been an army lah. If one lone squirrel, I think they'll still be building by now lah, bro.
So these squirrels have been putting the rocks to fill up this really good contractor work lah.
Yeah.
So that
it's important.
No, so that you don't trip and fall. Yeah.
And plus you can hold the, like you can maintain the structural integrity of the bridge lah.
Yeah. Okay. So then what happens to the monkeys that they
So the monkeys all very embarrassed. They say sorry.
Yes.
And then the squirrel said, okay, never mind, I forgive you. We got work to do.
Okay.
And then they prayed to Ram a bit and they continue. It usually, a lot of the stories end like that.
That's so cute. Like,
Yeah.
Ram
Yeah.
notices that he's putting the small pebbles in the gaps. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, so what I find interesting is, right, like a story like this can that if you, I mean, if you modernize a little bit and you put in some, you make it more contemporary, right? There is a moral in it. There is a moral in this story that even
Most of the stories, yeah,
right.
they especially from that writing, because the Ramayana and all that would have been in the scale of writings from back then. It would have been more recent lah.
Yeah, and so what I'm trying to get at is that, I mean, we all grew up with Western tales, Hansel and Gretel, the Red Riding Hood, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. All this, these are all from European, European sources,
Yeah.
Western sources. So, I mean, it's a shame that I only know of this story when I'm 35 years old. Imagine if I had been exposed to these stories when I was much younger. It's so interesting to like bring the mountain. Like you told me a big story, like Hanuman brought the mountain, but there's also a story of the squirrel putting the filling up the gaps of the two rocks. It's so great.
There are many, there are many stories. Like not all of them have like moral stories, but there are a lot of very cute, very heartwarming stories. Like there's the one of the more famous ones is about how Krishna, when he was a baby, he used to go and steal a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Which,
Okay.
He used to steal butter lah. Right?
All right.
So I remember when I heard this story, it's like, oh, okay, it's cute, and then I was like, hey, no lah, this one is a bit Malabe for me also.
Okay.
Because
Interesting. What's the story like?
No. So essentially, what he used to do was, because he loved butter so much, he used to go around everybody's house and steal their butter. With he and his friends, right?
Right.
Okay, in the village, people will hang the butter on the from the roof, from the ceiling and all that. His friends will make a pyramid, go and throw rocks and all that, break, steal. They cannot finish the butter. They'll give the monkeys. People complain to his mom.
Okay.
But it seems he said also, mother complain also, never mind. Every time the mother scold him, he will do baby eyes.
Yes.
He'll do baby face, show the mother, then mother okay.
Okay, right. Parvati.
So when no. Different.
Krishna's mom.
Krishna
okay,
different.
so okay.
Krishna's mom. So when I heard this story, I was like, this kids can get away with anything,
Yeah. So wait, so that's essentially the story. Like he stole butter, mother scold, made baby eyes, and okay.
Yeah, there was the one of the other ones was apparently he started stealing so much. I mean, eventually the village got annoyed lah. I mean,
right. Yeah, I mean, there's a butter crisis now.
I mean, I come to your house every day. I steal your fridge. You like me?
Yeah, and then now everyone got no butter. All this
no
presumably
butter, right?
fat kid is eating.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this chap, when he was like 6 like that, he was like, I'm fed up. People complaining already. I need to do something. He needed to do something. He couldn't say like,
I need to stop
maybe I'll
stealing butter.
Yeah, I need to stop. His actual excuse was, but if I stop stealing the butter, then there will be no enjoyment or zest in life.
Serious? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
A bit insolent, I have to say.
Yeah, but like his character when he was younger was like that, playful, and then eventually he became like a warrior. But in all the stories, they said even though he was mischievous and playful, like there was no malicious intent. They were all like, everyone just loved him anyway.
Well, I mean,
steal
the butter.
I mean, you steal butter, yeah lah.
Cannot cook.
I don't know.
Okay, so what he said? He said he had to do something. So
he had to do something. So he waited for apparently back in that time, the men had a certain time to go and bathe in the river. The women had a certain time to go and bathe in the river.
Mm-hmm.
So because all the women were complaining while the women were bathing, he went and stole all their clothes from the side.
Okay.
Put it on top of a tree.
Okay.
And then they all started like verbally abusing him. Like, I said, you idiot, what the hell you doing? Go tell your mother. They said, I'll give you back your clothes if you stop complaining to my mother I'm stealing your butter.
and then
and then they all said okay lah. They said so. There's one story, and I don't know whether this is a real quote or not lah. But there's one story where like one of the ladies said like, "Aya neman lah. I'm lucky. At least he's doing this at 7 and not 17 lah."
That's an actual saying of that, or?
I don't know. I saw it written somewhere. I don't know whether someone actually said that or not.
So wait. So this is what Krishna. Let's see if I Google Krishna stealing butter.
Oh, there'll be tons.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's a well-known thing, and like I think this is okay. You can there will be people who will argue like, oh, what's the moral and how accurate and did this happen and all that. I always look at these kind of stories as you can either take it as is or you can take it for the lesson.
Right.
And I think for me one of the lessons is like this is a criticism on the cholesterol intake of Indians, because you want to eat butter and all that, you do that when you're a kid lah.
Okay, so
he didn't do that after he grew up, no, because he's smart.
So okay, let's break it down. So this story, okay, is it legend or is it real? It's legend, right?
If you ask me as a Hindu, I cannot 100% say I believe every single thing happened.
Okay. So then what?
I choose to look at it as allegories.
Okay. So that means it's like, okay, it's like Jesus telling a parable lah, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now we all know, I mean, Jesus always explains his parables very well. But what do you think is besides cholesterol intake, what do you think is the intent of this story?
Honestly, I think it was just a very specific thing only related to Krishna, which is don't mess with me and my butter lah. I cannot think of anything else other than I really like to eat butter.
Or is that because it okay. Oh, okay. So okay. Let's see. So, Sri Krishna was not a thief. Just as the sun doesn't need the light from a candle flame, Sri Krishna never needed anything from anyone. Some of his childhood friends were poor. As Krishna and his friends went out to play, the friends complained that they were hungry. So Krishna visited the houses of different gopis. I presume these are noblemen or whatever, gopis.
No. The gopis were the name of the people in the village.
The gopi people. Okay.
What's the cow herders?
Oh, okay. So Krishna visited the houses of different gopis, took the butter and offered it to his friends. He didn't do it for his own sake.
Yeah.
Then secondly,
but he also ate a lot lah. I mean, there's actual photographical evidence of him stealing, you know.
Photographical evidence.
You on your Google tab now, you click image. There's a very, very famous painting.
Wait, hold on. So Krishna stealing butter. Okay.
I'm very sure you would have seen this image somewhere.
Oh, it's the one where it's like he's holding his ear and there's a goblet of butter. Oh man.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Okay, it's so famous, and I have seen this, but I never knew that that's a huge. Oh, there's another piece. There's another like a vase of butter behind him. Okay,
there's a lot of butter lah.
I'm reading this analysis. She says, secondly, the family members of the gopis were not fond of Krishna. They thought that Krishna was a mere cowherd boy. But the gopis had deep devotion for Krishna. They longed to offer butter to Krishna, but were forbidden by their family members. Even while churning the butter, the gopis prayed to Krishna to accept the butter as a token of love. They stored some butter in pots and left to sell other milk products such as buttermilk, butter, and cheese. By stealing the butter, not only did Krishna answer their prayers, but also stole their hearts.
So the way I interpret it is they don't like him to steal the butter, but they also like.
Yes, right.
So they know he's going to come and steal. You know it's going to happen. You prayed for it, Okay, you prayed for them to be butter. You know he's going to come, and then you go and complain to his mother.
Yeah, it's like it's like you know this children like at the end of Christmas they go and complain to Santa Claus's wife.
Yeah.
Why you let him come to my house? You
That's why
you wrote him
I got
letters
him.
all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, it's so cool. Like okay, so it's Lord Krishna stealing butter. That's so interesting, man. You know,
And like he had all these adventures in the village because his uncle was trying to kill him lah.
what?
So
Wait, but okay, at this point in time, people kind
he's a
of
child.
okay, he's a child, but at this point in time in his childhood, people kind of say, okay, this guy is a god, right?
It was slowly revealed to people in the village lah.
Or but slowly lah, like okay. So his uncle's trying to kill him. It's so tragic. Okay.
So the story of Krishna was like he's an incarnation of Vishnu, and his uncle. There was a prophecy that said that the 8th child born to his sister. So the family that he's growing up with now is not his birth family. You know?
Okay.
He was secreted away to keep him away from the uncle.
Okay. Right.
So his uncle found out that the 8th child born would be the one to kill him. So he started killing every child until the 8th.
Oh wow.
Every child born from their family he killed. That means his sister and the sister's husband. Okay. Kill. The 8th child, his father managed to escape with him. So he went to this village and gave it to these people. He took that child and replaced it with so he replaced his 8th child with that family's child. Now he went back and then the uncle saw the child, but the child was a girl. Because the prophecy said it'll be a boy child to kill him. Right? The uncle said, okay, girl, I don't have to kill. But then he said, no, I'm still going to kill the child anyway. But he couldn't. At the last minute, he felt something he really couldn't. And then later on in the story, you find out that child was an incarnation of another goddess.
What? Plot twist.
Later on. So he will send assassins all out to the village, but like a lot of the assassins were like in the form of like bull demons.
Okay.
And like Krishna always managed to win lah, obviously. And then as he grew older, then he got involved in this war. And if you go and search, like the actual war itself is called the Kurukshetra War. Like the story of the war itself is very interesting lah. If you go and like I said, a lot of it is, I think, as allegories. I don't know whether it really happened or not. There are people who believe the technology that they used in the war was real. And when I say technology, I'm talking about like flying vehicles.
Wow.
Weapons that the way they describe sounds very similar to nukes.
Wow. Okay.
So things like that. If you go and see if you read the story about the Bhagavad-Gita and all that, it's very interesting. Like the whole war started because they lost a dice game.
Dice game.
A dice game. So the Pandavas and the Kauravas they were having a dice game, and the Kauravas cheated.
Right.
But I think that dice game was just the pretense to launch the war. Like they didn't like each other anyway.
Yeah. But we got to make it look good to the people, you know, like
yeah.
Cheated at a game of chance, and then that's why we got
the game. And then Krishna
millions
came
of
there,
people.
and at that point, like they knew Krishna was like the personification of God already, and they still insulted him. So they said, okay, Namela, we'll just go to war and fight for the right lah. Because the Kauravas, they were not to say the most righteous.
Okay.
But then again, in war, who is, you know?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Like in these war stories, there's always the attempt to depict the head of the war as divine. You know, like this guy is a descendant from God. You know, like even in stories of Julius Caesar and what's the other guy? Alexander the Great. You know, they're always trying to say this guy is like a demigod, half divine,
like a larger than life kind of.
If you follow him, you will never lose, and then that gives men courage. You know, I think. I mean, I'm not saying Krishna is not a god, but I'm just saying that it's interesting how in this story they say Krishna is a god, but the enemies dare to make fun of him. Like you
like
know what I mean?
all
Which means that
across different cultures, you have all these features when it comes to important figures, you know.
like he must be a god. That's why he wins all
Yeah.
the battles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's so interesting. And you know, like, so what I like about this kind of stories is that obviously it is written in a very different era, you know. And then when the layman, when normal people read it, they go, "Oh, okay, that's a old story." But as stand-up comedians, we read the stories and go like, "That why like that's weird. That's odd. Why no one has ever questioned this?" Like, give you an
Yes.
example. Like, give you an
Yeah.
example. Like, this is a common premise for stand-up comedians in Malaysia. Like the whole Parameswara and how he got the name Malacca. You used to do this
Yeah.
bit. Right? Okay,
Yes.
you do it again. You rekindle this bit. I love this bit.
So the bit was I don't like the current story that we have where he went to Malacca and then the Pelando kicked the dog into the river and then he thought that was the best thing he ever saw in his life. And then he said like, what do you call this land? They said no name. And then he said, what is this tree? They said, Poko Malacca. And then, okay, I'll just call it Malacca.
Yeah.
Right? That's the original story. So my version of changing it is he went there. Let's make it more badass. He went there instead of a Pelando. Let's say he saw a rhino. The rhino attacked his people.
Yeah.
Okay. No, the rhino attacked him. He did a backflip over the rhino.
Yes.
The rhino missed him. Hit his assistant. His assistant flew into the river. As he flew, he yelled out Chalaka.
Okay.
And then Parameswara misheard as Malacca, and that's how we have the name.
So like
no, it's right what you're saying. Like as stand-up comics now, because I think we are all the type where, I mean, stand-up comics, we naturally want to dig deeper into things.
Yeah.
Right? That's how we mine for jokes. So me going back and looking back at my cultural upbringing through this lens now is fun for me.
Yeah.
To go back and say like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Can I say this differently? Can I ask questions?
Yeah, say different. And the reason why I remember this Parameswara premise was, again, recently someone tweeted a much more concise form of his take on the Parameswara in Malacca, right? His tweet in Malay was something along the lines of, the Pelando worked so hard to kick the hunting dog down into the river, and then Parameswara is like, wow, this Pelando is amazing. What's the name of this tree?
Yeah.
Like the Pelando be like, bro, I did all the work, bro. The tree just literally stood there.
We were this close to having a Negeri Pelando, a Negeri Kancil.
Negeri Kancil, whatever. And then Douglas Lim, by the way, had a different take to it, right? But of course, his premise will take 5 years to set up, right? So basically, he's saying that Parameswara is so if I remember the setup correct, he talks about how Parameswara was sitting down, then the Pelando kicked the dog in, and then he goes, what is the name of this tree? And then his advisors like, this is the Pokok Malacca. Like, he's running away from being killed by assassins. He's like, okay, grab the hunting dogs, grab all your equipment and everything. Oh, by the way, don't forget to bring the botanist.
Okay.
You know, let's bring a tree expert. You know, like why?
Yeah.
Why in his advisory team there's one guy who ini Pokok Malacca.
Yeah. I think there's so much that we can interpret, you know, and use to entertain when it comes to like all our cultural history.
Yeah. And I feel like it's interesting because, like, see, I didn't know all these stories of in the Bhagavad-Gita, Mahabharata, and the Ramayana. These are such interesting stories. I think it's just that I don't know why. Maybe even I'm sure there are a lot of epic Chinese tales, Chinese stories.
Oh, there's tons, what? Yeah.
That I just never had had never read, you know. And I think it's because it's the problem with the Jews, lah. You know, like they
okay.
the
Thank you. And for this,
Like
I'm
we
going
are
to.
we are all
Mm,
no,
I
it's
was
the
waiting, I was waiting and see how soon you'll get that.
no, okay, but I think it's we all fall prey to this Western push for Western stories. Like
Yes.
we all know of Western folklore, Western fairy tales, Aesop's fables, but we somehow we miss out on this epic Asian tales. Like even the all the Greek stories, the Greek mythologies. I mean, I wish I knew more of it. All I know is that through video games, like Zeus, lightning bolt, likes to have sex with all the
I was
women.
about to say the all this when it comes to, and we're talking about storytelling, right? Different types of media, different types of storytelling. Me and you, we play games, we consume a lot of entertainment media that we know enough already about all the Western stories. We want something different. And then you look at the wealth of stories we have from Asia,
Mm.
and to see it not being tapped as much as the Western stories
Oh
is a
man.
shame.
Oh,
Like
you're gonna get me. Oh man, you're gonna get me on another rant. Okay, yeah, go on.
there's so many like I wish there were more games talking about let's say Hindu culture and stories
Mm,
from that time.
mm.
There's one I think that's going to come out or just came out, which looks not bad, but like I've seen some people, right, whenever they say, oh, so and so is developing a game on Hindu myths, you will see like people down there, oh, you cannot talk about this god. Shut up, lah. Just shut up.
As in these are
Just shut up.
actual Hindu people who are saying that you don't touch
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
house.
Yeah. I'm like, this is, no one is insulting anybody.
Mm.
We are using the rich tapestry of our culture to tell different stories. What is wrong with that? Like,
Well,
we are a
yeah,
culture based on storytelling, and you're telling people not to tell stories. That's dumb.
yeah. All cultures are, at the end of the day, based on stories, a
Yeah,
continuing series of stories.
yeah.
I said that I was going to go on a rant because, like, okay, first of all, I love Game of Thrones
Mm.
up till season 5, and then after that, it ended for me.
Okay,
Season
okay,
6, 7, 8 did not exist at all. But
okay.
so, like, how everyone says, oh, this tale is blood, gore, betrayal, treachery, and all that. And yes, I agree. It's great, the lords, the houses, and then all the intrigue, But man, Chinese history also we have hundreds, if not thousands of years of historical drama that can be mined for like
Anyone who's even like mildly familiar with the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, so you will know how insanely good that whole story is.
Yeah. And then that I'm reading a manga now called Kingdom, right?
Mm.
It's like it's about how this a young king called Shi Huangdi wants to one day unite China into one land, and it's about the warring states period where there are 7 states at war with each other. Okay, and there are so many plot twists, so many betrayals, so many coups and counter coups, and backstabbing, and a lot of sex involved. And the thing that blows my mind, right, is the scale of the story. Like I said, it spans the entirety of China, 7 states. One state has probably enough material for like 10 seasons, whatever. But imagine in those times, right, when they say, oh, there's a battle going on, and they say it like in passing, like, the Wei army of 100,000 people will face off the Qin army of 100,000 people. There's 200,000 people. The most epic battle scene we watched, Battle at Helm's Deep, that was just 10,000.
Yeah.
There was just 10,000 Uruk-hai. And it's like so epic. This is 20 times that.
Correct. Like the amount of good stories can come out if you just give them a chance. Like there are some people taking a chance. Like, the cinematic masterpiece, The Great Wall, the one where Matt Damon went and fought in China one.
One where
things like that, right?
the white guy will save the world.
The white guy will save the world. Yeah. Yeah. We need to stop that, I think, first and foremost.
Yeah. So like I was about to say that. So this like like even I read The Art of War in the comic book form. So many interesting stories, like the use of psychological warfare. Like, for example, this famous strategist. His name is Zhuge Liang. I'm sure you know Zhuge Liang. Do you know Zhuge Liang? So Zhuge Liang. So he's the brilliant strategies. Like, for example, like one of the famous stories where his army has no more arrows.
Right.
Okay. And so what he did was, don't worry, I'll get arrows for you. So he sails a boat near to the army, and then the army starts firing arrows at the boat to kill the people, but the people are just straw men.
Yeah, and then he just takes
takes the arrows back. Then I got your arrows. So in this particular story, the army, the enemy army had surrounded his castle. Okay. And the army general, the army advisors like, okay, we got to storm the castle because reports show that he has no reinforcements. He's going to die. You're going to storm the castle, right? So Zhuge Liang in the castle, not enough manpower to defend the castle. You know what he does? He goes to the very top ramp, the very top tower of the castle.
Okay.
He tells his lieutenants to open the castle doors. Right? Open the castle doors. Nobody man the gates. Empty, right? And then he stands at the top tower, plays a flute.
Okay.
Just chilling there with the flute, right? So the army general
just doing a jazz solo lah.
Yeah, he's like, the army looks at, what the fuck? Gates open, the guy is playing a flute. He must be luring me into a trap.
Okay.
And he doesn't charge in.
Okay.
Buying enough time for another relief army to come and save Zhuge Liang. That is, man, that story stays with me, you know. So like I say, like, sometimes I wish that there's more mining of these historical treasures and, you know, tell stories. I think it's such a waste.
Yeah. It's I hope it doesn't get lost as time goes by, you know, that more people get interested and just look at this story and say, hey, can we do something? Because so I watch Tamil movies sometimes, and there's a very, very prominent director called Mani Ratnam.
Okay.
South Indian director. He did a movie that was his interpretation of the Ramayana that I told you about.
Ooh.
But like set in modern day. But he told it from the perspective of Ravanan, the bad guy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this guy is like like a vigilante, like a guerrilla freedom fighter like that in the forest.
Wow. Okay.
Right. He kidnaps the main officer's wife. So that's the Sita character, right?
Right. Okay.
And then, you know, they wax philosophical about it, but it's a very, very nice interpretation, and you get to see it from Ravanan's point of view also. So towards the end, you're like, hey, it's not like, he's actually not bad, you know.
That's so interesting because, okay, was this film very controversial? Did he receive backlash for this?
I mean, it's India, so like you breathe also, you will receive backlash there. So I'm sure it did. Bro, it is the world's biggest democracy, and I feel it's too much democracy.
Oh, I see. Okay, so backlash in a good way. What I mean backlash in a bad way is like how dare you, you know, demonize, you try.
I'm very sure they would have.
Okay.
Very sure they would have. Very sure.
What is interesting, because like this is a reinterpretation, right? So when we grew up, we all knew stories of Hang Tuah, right? Of course, we know Hang Tuah as the brave warrior, whatever. And you know, when you read the stories, we are led to believe that Hang Tuah is the good guy, and what happened was Hang Jebat is the bad guy.
Yeah.
Right? Because and then the famous saying is like, Raja Adil disembah, Raja Zalim disanggah, something like that. Because Hang Jebat sort of like went amok in the Sultan's palace, and the Sultan is known to be Zalim, right?
Yes.
And then Hang Tuah came and said, stop this, I am supposed to fight for the Sultan. So Hang Jebat, Hang Tuah, they fought whatever, and then because through trickery, Hang Tuah got the Taming Sari, the mystical keris, and killed Hang Jebat. And Hang Jebat is the villain. But then some modern scholars are saying that actually Hang Jebat may be the hero. Because of he's going against, you know,
a tyrant,
what he deemed to be a Raja Zalim, you know. So if you read some of the stories now, I say, hey, actually, Hang Jebat may not be as bad as we think, and it's so interesting because it's an old tale, but we just think of it differently.
And wouldn't it be so interesting to see like a movie or something made from that point of view.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing. This kind of issues cannot simply raise in Malaysia, no, I guess.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, we need to stop all this cannot raise. Like, the more you have different interpretations, different point of views, then you get more culture. Why? You know what I
So
mean?
like there's this chili sauce article saying that in the story of Hang Tuah, the real hero might actually be
Hang Jebat.
Hang Jebat, whatever. Then
Yeah, but
Hang
you
Jebat
see, all like when people say, "Oh, you cannot say this, you cannot say that," it's too much. What's the word I'm looking for? It's too much deification of these kinds of characters, where you say you cannot touch them at all, you cannot examine, you cannot research, you cannot try to tell a story. You keep doing that, nobody in the world is going to know any story about Malaysia, bro.
Yeah. What I think is interesting about the Hang Tuah Hang Jebat story is you can actually make it open-ended. You can just say, tell the story, and then up to you to decide lah. You know what I mean?
Yeah lah.
Because it's such a it could make for, like, I can imagine like an episode of a series where the main protagonist, the white hero we're all supposed to root for, actually stands up for his, let's say, his president of the United States, who is a bad guy. But the hero stands up because that's my duty, that's my job. Whereas another guy who betrays the Secret Service is actually it wants to kill the president, but it turns out that the good guy kills him, or he's the villain. But who is the real villain? That's why it's so interesting.
Exactly. It sounds like such an amazing Malaysian story that we can be proud of,
Yeah. Yes.
And the sooner people stop making noise of, oh, you cannot say this, cannot say that, shut up and do lah.
Yeah, it's just an interesting story. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we've done way over time. Anyway, thanks, bro. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. I hope to be able to listen to more stories in the future. This was amazing.
Ken, I will try to. It's not that easy trying to craft something humorous about a Hindu story, but I'll try my best lah.
You've done a great job. It's so interesting.
Wealth of stuff.
And it's nice to bring this out in the open, because then I get to read and learn. Oh, this Hindu god or whatever likes to steal butter. I can't believe I never thought I would say that in a sentence. Like a Hindu god who, as a child, loved to steal butter.
I got tons lah, bro.
Okay. Anyway, thanks. Thank you so much.
Thanks, bro. Thanks. I'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.